Good evening. And if you're just tuning in, welcome to Beneath the Hollow Moon, where folklore burns slow and the strange never fades. I'm your host, Lorilei Potvin, and you're listening to us live on UFO Paranormal and United Public Radio Network, 105.3 FM in the Gulf Coast and 107.7 FM in the beautiful city of New Orleans, Louisiana. And I'm here with my amazing, wonderful co-host and friend, Kerrilynn Shellhorn. And tonight, we are basically going to be talking about spirit communication, right?
Mm-hmm.
You had a better title. You had a better title. You always do when you make our beautiful banners and the beautiful intros. Miss Kerrilynn makes those.
Thank you. Frequency through the veil. We're going to talk about
better. Yes,
frequency through the veil. We're going to talk about EVPs, and you're taking your questions and using our tools. And answering them. So doing like a live EVP session, because we're going to use the spirit box and talk about those sorts of things.
Guys, I wanted to stop this. Good thing I'm checking this as I'm talking to you. So give me a sec. Go ahead. I'm just doing what I wanted to do. Go ahead.
So I will add, if you are enjoying our shows, you can head to uprntalkradio.com to follow along with all of the different hosts and shows that we have happening. There's always new shows joining in. Oh my goodness, Jonathan Keyworth, thank you so much for being here. I was hoping if we saw the words frequency through the veil and EVPs,
I was talking about you.
Yeah, for sure.
I was talking about you today, Jonathan. Was your ears burning?
That's awesome.
Because I was.
So uprntalkradio.com, thousands of archives of shows that you can access. You can learn more about the hosts here on our network and stay up to date with all of the new shows that we have coming on.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So how have things been with you? Besides, I think it's like a sauna where you are, because it is here too.
Yeah, it's warm. And we have like the full moon. I forgot about the full moon being tomorrow.
So did I.
So the full moon is tomorrow, and I actually did a post on our friend Joni's Astrology the Series group, going, are the planets in a way that's going to make like cars muck up and all that kind of stuff? It's been some intense energy for sure. It's just like weird and stuff happening.
Definitely high strangeness. And I spend a lot of time outside, and especially at nighttime I do. And I was looking at the moon, and I should have realized that it was almost a full moon, because I thought, that's getting pretty close to a full moon. But did it ding with me about full moon? But it certainly explains a lot. Oh, Lionsgate plus full moon. You are right. I forgot tomorrow's the Lionsgate. I forgot about that. Yes, and that's going to be powerful energy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Julie Jean Bassett will be on Spirit Switchboard tomorrow.
Yes, she will. Should we say hi to everybody? And then we'll start our little video.
Yeah. Yes, indeed.
Okay, so here we go.
Hi, Vanessa Martins. She's just saying hello. She also added in the full moon is Saturday.
It is. And we got Jonathan Keyworth and Julie Jean Bassett, who you mentioned. And then let's see. Oh, we got Kurt. So I'll pull that up.
Kurt W75. Greetings, Laura and Kerrilynn. Hope both of you are doing great. Nice to see you. Thank you for being here.
And I apologize. I know your partner is usually with you. Heidi usually reminds us, so please say hello to them as well, because I'm so sorry. My mind just went blank on their names, so I apologize about that. And that's where we are right now for people. Check Instagram. We were going to be on TikTok, but TikTok decided to be nasty. It was available on Monday, and I thought, I'll save it for Thursday. Now it's given me a restriction for another day. We have a lot, and I never used it even.
Hello, Manisha Moxley. Thank you for being here.
Hello. So, shall we pull up this video? Kerrilynn fell. You have the most infectious laugh.
Oh, it's probably going to happen again, folks. Like, I'm probably going to laugh till I leak. So just get ready.
Oh my gosh. I was laughing harder at you laughing when you sent this to me. But we'll pull it up, guys. Get ready. I think I got the volume working finally. So
we'll explain why we're showing you this video afterwards.
Okay, I gotta hit play.
Where are you going?
So this is no way.
What are you doing?
That's what I'm gonna do when someone tries to scare me. I'm gonna.
Hello, sir. It's getting
Hi. Is it on?
You done?
That's our beginning again.
Yeah. Okay, so as hilarious as that was when you sent it to me, you had a reason why you thought it would be a good idea, and I agree. So what are your thoughts on why we started with this video?
Okay. So there's actually a few things. Laughter shifts energy. So laughter elevates and shifts the energy. So it elevates things. And we're wanting to do spirit communication. And I know I had a bit of an off day. I know you were having a bit of an off day. So it helps shift both of us as well too. People who are listening or watching, even if they're just listening to us laughing and then joining in with us laughing.
Yes.
But I wanted to talk about, and you're right, Jonathan Keyworth is saying fear is an emotion that can overpower you instantly. Absolutely. For sure. And most of us will laugh after too. We get scared and then we burst out laughing. Hello, Jody. Thank you for being here. Julie Dow, thank you for being here. Mm-hmm. So I know that happens. The reason why I felt it was important to play that video is for people to understand paranormal equipment. So understanding how it works and why it works and the different things attached to it, right? So all of the Halloween equipment, that's fabulous, Kurt. Thank you so much. Gold. You just gave everyone the best medicine there is, laughter. Hello, Susie. Hello. Thank you for being here. So the optic proximity sensors basically run on IR lights, right? So like our motion detector, like the paranormal equipment that you can put up in the doorways, any of that kind of stuff. That's exactly what our Halloween, all of those Halloween displays, that's what they run off, the optics, right? So it senses you there and it creates the trigger response. It creates
like a proximity sensor. So as soon as it,
so it's the optic proximity sensor.
Mhm.
For sure. And so I don't think that people necessarily put those two and two together, right? That our paranormal equipment is also similar and the same sort of stuff to the Halloween stuff that we laugh at, and the Halloween equipment that, or the displays that we laugh at Spirit Halloween every year, which will be starting soon, right? They usually, by the end of August, Spirit Halloween opens up, and it's Halloween from the end of August to, yes.
You know what reminded me of that was my late son Justin. Always, from the time he was a little kid, loved videos like that when people would get shocked or surprised and they'd fall over, or he'd be America's Funniest videos where that kid would be peeing himself laughing, and it's always people, they wouldn't get hurt, but they'd have these unfortunate little fall overs, and he
we all laughed at them, and some of them not so much, but I mean, a lot of them you end up laughing over, but some of them are like, whoa.
That's a bit much, but that's kind of how it can be, though. Like for people maybe that haven't gone on a paranormal investigation or been around spirits, right? Because especially if you haven't, because I think everybody can tune into some type of energy, but it's being prepared to kind of do that. So I've seen some people get quite shocked, and rightfully so, especially if all the lights are out. Something happens, right?
Well, and your emotions, all your senses. Hello, Kirby's 100. Thank you for being here.
Mm-hmm.
Your senses are heightened. All of your senses are heightened at nighttime, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's different types of, and I just feel every opportunity we get a chance to talk about how it works, so we can kind of left brain some things too. Like tonight's not going to be necessarily data research, right? It's going to be entertainment. It's going to, which is a hard word, I know, right? That we're saying that it's entertainment when we may receive messages tonight that are evidential and powerful and healing at the same time, but it could also be influenced by certain things. So we have to have a little bit of left brain with it at the same time.
I'm looking forward to it because I don't have a team I investigate with. Some of the things I'm familiar with, some I'm not. So it'll be a learning experience for me too. I said, pull out whatever you got, because Kerrilynn has a cool.
I have a lot. I didn't pull out a whole lot because I thought, with your SB11, and I could have just sort of some stuff set up around here and the static sensor. But
I haven't even used mine in a long time. I did charge it. I should make sure it even works.
Oh, I've got mine ready at the go as well too.
I know you got everything ready. So
so John's
dowsing rods than me once you showed me how they work.
Well, you know what? And the thing is, I also pulled this book out. I'm going to talk about the sensor stuff in a second too, but I also pulled this book out for folks. Nicole Tito and Lisa Crick were on Spirit Switchboard. Lisa's been on a couple of different times. You guys, if you follow me on social media, you'll see that I share Oracle by Lisa. Every once in a while, I'm sharing her weekly tarot posts that she's doing for the week. So Lisa has been on, and so they have their book about EVPs. So there's that book, right? So they also wrote this one. So Al Grajic with her and Nicole Tito, 101 Everyday Ghost Hunting Items.
I loved it. Yeah, that you showed me that book. I thought that was amazing.
And it's understanding like that you can use simple things like from home, like things you do not have to spend a whole lot of money. You can use simple things, a compass from like the Dollar Tree, and a flashlight, bring your notebook. There's like simple things. You can create dowsing rods by cutting up a metal coat hanger.
That's what I was going to grab, because
the light went off again.
I saw it because my
Yeah.
previous co-host, when I first came to the network, Seraphine Hurley and I, we were between networks. We used to be in another network out of Washington, and we were going to start doing this on our own before I came to UPRN over 6 years ago. And so we had started building up a bit of a community. And there's actually, I'm going to give myself a little bit of a plug here. If you go to my YouTube channel, I think it's under the video section. It's something to do with energy and frequency. I'll have to look it up, the title of it. It's about 2 hours long. Seraphine and I are in it, and who I call my adopted daughter. She's in Sardinia, Italy, and we end up talking and teaching about energy from all of our different perspectives and how to work with it and what have you. But also, we held one night, a craft night, if you will. We put out a list of supplies, and we had people join us, and we made dowsing rods online live together. And decorate them any way you want. And
yeah, and honestly, like I've taught divination tools where I got people to find a twig from outside that just has a tiny little bit of an arc and use it as a bobber. You can put a crystal on the end if you want, but holding it like a bobber.
I bet you people don't know what a bobber is. So I always forget the name of it too. So do you want to explain how that works and how you use it?
The bobber, if you had that like little bit of a stick with just that little bit of an arc to it, and you put that crystal, mine has a howlite skull crystal on the end of it, right?
Okay.
And you just hold it loosely. It's just another dowsing tool. And you just hold it lightly in your hand, arms relaxed at your side, holding it out in front, and you use it the same as you would any other dowsing, like your dowsing rods. You ask it if it can show you a yes, ask it if it will show you a no, and you can get that thing bouncing like crazy.
Well, same as the one twig that goes off in a Y. I've heard it called a witching water witcher. I've heard it. That's how I found out about the bobber years ago, because I did a bunch of research when we were going to do the teaching class on the dowsing.
Yeah, and they all work great. My my great grandfather used to witch wells for all the farmers in our community by using the willow rod. I just used mine in an Estes session last month in an investigation. That's amazing.
Cool, Sherry.
So yeah, I mean, you can use simple things from your home and not worry about having to spend a whole pile of money on equipment until because you can spend a whole lot, even like the cat balls, but it's understanding how things can get influenced and what can create a false positive as well too. And I mean, we're in my office, so up by these lights, I have hi Jackie White. Oh yeah, you'll have to watch at the beginning later for the laughter part.
Yes.
So there's a Budweiser beer can by Ghost Gear Store, which is in British Columbia. I have a whiskey club bottle from him too, and it looks like a glow in the dark cigarette case, but when you pop it open, there's like a 3D printed cigarette inside. So I have that up there with a cat ball. The para-lantern is down here, Ghost Hunters equipment, the same as the tripwire. So I just have those things sort of set up while we were doing stuff tonight, right?
Can I stop you for a sec? Because I'm very curious. Okay, so the light over your shoulder went off before we went live, and it went live again, or lit up again. What is that, and how does it work, and why did we see it light up?
So a lot of the stuff, the para-lantern, the LED tripwire, the REM pod, a lot of people, hi Jackie Collins, a lot of people, REM pod is one of the first pieces. A lot of people will purchase as well too. Hi Cindy Waghorn. So the Paralight, those are capacitive proximity centers. So with capacitive, oh, hello, Teresa. So within it, within the capacitive proximity center, it creates capacitance. So it's like stored energy. So when something comes at it, it triggers that and creates capacitance, which creates the lights and bells and whistles and all the sounds. So I think I did that right. Yeah.
So that would indicate then that you have some kind of energetic.
Well,
None?
potentially, right? So it completes the connection of something stored. So it does stored electric, and it changes the electrical. So the unit, it changes the, oh my gosh, the stored electrical change. And that change is stored inside the unit and inside the capacitor, and then it is released. It creates capacitance and it's released. I know this off by heart, so I don't know why I get all flustered when I'm doing this. Anyway,
So is it like a REM pod then? Is that what it is? Like
all of it is. Like all of that works the same. It's all working the same. So it's proximity. So when something comes close to it, the issue is, hello, Leslie, is that you could get a random rogue radio or like electrical burst or an electrical wave of something in here. I've got a fan on this side that's plugged in and going. The modem is hooked up in here. So there's the potential for when in the winter, because this office has no heat. Hi, Dawn Davies. It gets very cold. Hi, Jennifer. We'll read this in just 1 second.
Okay.
So you're right. That's what I'm about to share. In this office, there's no heat. So I have to plug my heater in. When I do a seance with the heater plugged in, it affects all of the equipment. You can watch the tripwire. It will light up more. It will do all of that stuff because it's constantly shooting out these rogue
EMF, if you will. Yep.
Yes, the rogue EMFs where it's picking it up and triggering that capacitance. So using something like this, which I love having this out. I love using this. My sister laughs her pants off at me. She calls it the Egon machine. She always makes fun of me. Oh yeah.
Look what I'm wearing tonight too. I decided on Ghostbusters. I could have done your t-shirt that you had gifted me with. So I had my other ghosty one. I said, that's it. It's Ghostbusters tonight.
I love it. So Jennifer, that's Jennifer Frost Casista is sharing with my REM pod. I have only had fluctuations in temperature, never the lights related to proximity. And that's like with the cat balls, right? The cat balls, people are using the cat balls, but temperature can also affect it. If you're going from really cold into warm, there's understanding that there's outside influences to things and understanding the why it works. And it doesn't take too much investigating, but understanding the why.
With as long as when you're dealing with the paranormal, right? You need to know your equipment, but you also need to debunk. Like if you're getting, say, a result that seems, you should always sort of look at the other signs around you. What am I picking up? What else are we getting? Whatever. And also be willing to debunk is what you're saying basically as well.
Yeah, for sure. And there's, I love having the Mel meter out as well too. So the Mel meter is going to give you, temperature changes. It's going to give you EMF changes. Like it's going to show all those different things. So another way to not debunk, but have more controlled responses is having a static sensor. So
that I'm not familiar with. So please take it.
Well, but static energy, right? When you're the hairs on your arms lift up, or you shuffle along a carpet and then you create the connection and that burst you have. Yeah, exactly. So this is like, I don't know, this was like one of the very first pieces. I think I got the REM pod and this at the same time, which works great. Having your proximity sensor, so the capacitive proximity sensor and the static sensor. So this is going to pick up on a static. There's still ways that this can get influenced, but if you have the two things kind of close together and something goes off, it's more likely like it could be something that's making them go off that you can investigate even more with, right? Than if it's just the one piece. But yeah. It's because it makes a sound and everything. Oh my God, I love it.
I'm going to always call it now the Egon machine.
I know it's called an electroscope. And I mean, I know that there's, so GEC Paratech, she's from the UK. I found her on Etsy. I love her equipment, a static sensor. So the static sensor is exactly what it's picking up on the static electricity.
It just went off again. In the back of your shoulder. Yeah, it just went off again.
Mm-hmm. She makes one. I believe Ghost Hunters Equipment has created a REM pod with a static sensor in it as well too. I believe so. Don't quote me on that, but you can double check. And I know the GEC Paratech has created a static sensor as well too. I know there's probably others, but those are the ones that I'm aware of. And this is just old school. I think I got this from Ghost Stop like a really long time ago.
Yeah.
Anyway, just so we have a little bit of idea.
And I'm listening. I'm thinking about now where my book is, how to work my device. Because, see, I don't have anybody really to investigate or play around with, right? And where I live is kind of isolated in the fact that it's not in the middle of BF nowhere, but it's just Thunder Bay, and then we've got small communities. I find if I lived in Southern Ontario, you'd have a few more different opportunities to interact and use the equipment, even if you didn't go with the team.
Yeah. And that's kind of what I've ended up doing. I have grab a couple of friends, and
I'd be going with you if I lived down there.
Exactly. I love using the paranormal. A lot of people like the K2 meters. Again, it's capacitive. It's capacitive. So, just making sure that you can left brain things. It's why you get asked to shut your cell phones off. So the cell phones aren't creating random bursts, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome, Jennifer. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. That's awesome.
And I mean, I know that it's a touchy subject, but I find going to cemeteries, even if you do like going during the day and taking a walk. I mean, a lot of them look like parks, and it's a great place to try out equipment, and doing it in a respectful way, not when somebody's got, something going on, when there's a service being held or anything like that. But you find that quiet corner and you can try out your equipment. You could practice asking questions, because some people get nervous asking questions or not sure what kind of questions to ask, and checking out if you have the right group of people, because maybe there's somebody that gets scared at every little thing and they're going to run away. You don't want somebody that you can't trust to be with you when you're doing those sorts of things, right? So
we have places around here that are notoriously haunted. Like we have what's used to be called the Lakehead Psychiatric Hospital. It's right beside a big man-made lake called Boulevard Lake. And I know nobody's gone in to investigate as far as I know, but I know people have gotten a lot on the outside.
Crazy.
Jennifer said cemeteries are usually very beautiful.
I agree. I agree.
I just never go. I just, like I say, I'm not going to go by myself, and I'm not taking my partner along, because I always say to him, the paranormal only happens when it happens to you. It's true.
That's funny. Well, and being safe too. Like cemeteries are usually very beautiful. I love pioneer cemeteries, so I love exploring the art and the symbols on the headstones, their stories. Sometimes you can find recipes. Like there's a whole book just about recipes on headstones.
We have a pioneer village that is notoriously haunted, and around Halloween, I know they have an event. It's outside of the city. I don't know. There's probably a cemetery close by there, because it's actually not known as Thunder Bay. It would be known as Neebing. And I'm pretty sure it's Neebing. It's either Neebing or Kaministiquia. But there's a lot of, as there is in most places, a lot of history. But the city that I live in is really strange. Like when Kerrilynn had mentioned the compasses to me before we went live, I had said to her, well, what happens when you live in a place like I do? You cannot get true north on the property, and I'll let you share what you told me. And that's what I figured. Mhm.
Yeah, it can still affect. Hello, Michelle Wilfong. It can still affect, like, spirit can still affect
Mhm.
the compass, even if it's not finding a true north. If it's doing anything that's not normal, if normal is like it's going in a circle, continuously not finding a north, right, in your
Mhm.
space, and all of a sudden it stops,
Mhm.
that's not normal. So there's something to investigate with. And then having different types of equipment, the capacitive and the static at the same time, and seeing,
I'd
what.
like to investigate the old fort, actually, because that place is a little bit outside the city, and we have a lot of history with the UK, where the Hudson's Bay Company came here, and the voyageurs would come, and the trading. So there's a place. My son used to go to day camp out there. My oldest one. It was a bit of a drive every day there and back, but um, it's people, they hire people to reenact the times and everything way back then, but they
Oh,
have all the old pieces from back then. Like, I was always fascinated going into the doctor's office. Like, they had an old bloodletting machine, and like right back in the day, like none of this is reproduced. So imagine the energy it holds.
yeah, that would be amazing to check out.
Hi, Teresa.
So Teresa is sharing there's a pet cemetery by Port Burwell that's pretty cool to see how people honor their pets. I grew up down the road from a pet
You
cemetery.
did you?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
down the road from the pet cemetery.
Mm-hmm.
And when you talk to my sister will tell you that's like, she's 7 years younger than me, 7 and a bit years younger than me. And I used to read her Stephen King to at nighttime, and so Pet Cemetery was one of the ones that I read. And we lived down the street from the Pet Cemetery. It wasn't
We
spooky.
don't have a pet cemetery, so when your pet passes away, you either got to try and find a place to keep their remains, or there's a beautiful it's a local business that does pet cremation here. Otherwise,
Mm,
you have to send it like to Winnipeg or Toronto. And I've used them a few times. They always give you a beautiful urn. So that's why it kind of sounds foreign to me, a pet cemetery. And I think it's needed because
oh,
people love their animals and, want a respectful place to lay them to rest.
yeah. I
Hmm.
we grew up down the line. It was surprising to me, actually, that there was a pet cemetery. I don't think
Is
it's.
there creepy, weird things? Now you got to tell us. You're leaving me hanging.
I don't think so.
No?
I mean, I honestly just remembered, like, there was like um the teenage boys that lived on a road. Like, our road maybe had 5 houses, right? And it was a kilometer or more than a kilometer long road with like just these 5 houses. But the teenage boys went swimming in the duck pond that was on there. That's all I remember. Like, I don't remember the cemetery being haunted or creepy.
Haunted?
I've always liked cemeteries, though. Like, I've always been the creepy girl that liked all that stuff. So.
Oh, did you?
Mhm.
Ooh. I have an app I sent you. It's called Deadline. It's ITC Paranormal Research Application by hauntedengland.co.uk. If you guys are ever looking to want to maybe try something like an SB7 type device, I've had some success with this, and it allows you to even put in, it says investigation log. You can enter where you were, the time, set your location, and it actually keeps records for you. So it's kind of cool. It's a free app that's out there. It's not really an app. They just put it out. It was with a newsletter or something I signed up with.
Oh, that's awesome. Teresa, I agree. Like, not creepy at all. Most of them are beautiful. Like, even
Mhm.
there is a cemetery that gets mentioned a lot in different articles and being super haunted. And uh, here in Southern Ontario, not far from where I am, and it just wasn't. It was one of the most well-maintained cemeteries and beautiful, and we didn't get that, even though it's written about as being super haunted. We didn't have that experience, and most are very beautiful and well maintained. The pioneer ones that are super old are very interesting, but even then, most of them are well maintained. The ones that are like, wait, no, that's not true. We did go to one last year that was not well maintained at all. It was really sad. And we had a lot of stuff happen at that one. Like, weirdness. It didn't feel good. And I think it was because it was not well maintained.
So Jennifer's asking, Kerrilynn, is that Woodlawn?
Oh, no. It wasn't Woodlawn. I've actually taken, like, a long time ago. Yeah, quite a while ago. I would say 10 years ago, maybe. The Girl Guides asked me to help take the girls through a walkthrough with the ghost equipment. At Woodlawn. Woodlawn is known to be haunted, though. Like, people see headlights of a car driving around and apparitions and that kind of stuff. We go to Woodlawn quite frequently just to walk around during the day too. You don't have to wait till nighttime, and don't trespass, folks. Know the rules.
We have some really haunted places. Like, I never knew about this. So I've talked about this often on this show and my other show I do, that Thunder Bay has the sleeping giant. It's called the Legend of Nanabiju, or some say Nanabojo, some say Gitchagumi. And then on the south side, rurally in the city, is Kekabeka Falls, and it's known as Little Niagara of the North. And there is a legend that intersects with the sleeping giant. And they say, depending on the light, there's a princess that gave her life to save her tribe, that intersects with the sleeping giant legend, that supposedly you can see her at the base of the falls at certain times. Well, anyways, I never knew this. My partner Del told me this. I'd never heard this story, but he grew up on the south side of the city. And he said he knew people that talked about this, that they, teenagers always looking for a place to go, quote unquote, parking. And they would go out there at night late, and they said there were a few people that swore on their mother's graves. They would say they were parked and doing what teenagers do, and all of a sudden they'd hear the locks go up and down, and they said the car, like their car would be facing in the opposite. Like if they pulled in, they said they didn't feel the car turn around or anything. And again, it could just be a bunch of people telling us a spooky story, but I've heard so many creepy stories from Kekabeka and also on this side of town, rurally, Trowbridge. Like if you look up, I think it's Ontario Paranormal, there's like a forum, or there used to be, you will see so many stories of people sharing their stories of what has happened out there. It's crazy.
Yeah, I've been asked to tap into Trowbridge and record what I'm tapping into, like from here. So not even to go there, but just remote view in and see what I pick up intuitively. So it's supposed to be a lot. Next couple of days.
Yeah, there's a lot there. Lots of people had a lot of reports of stuff. I can't remember. I don't think I've ever had anything negative when being out there, but I haven't been out there in years either.
Crazy. Okay, so the book. I think those were the. Did you see if is your SB11 working or SB7 working?
Yeah, I have it plugged in. I just haven't. I don't even know if I put an SD card in it. I bought it because it was on sale and I wanted one, because I thought, I've tried it a few times. What I've mostly used, because I got to have this with me, I've used, and I did charge it. I don't even know if I put an SD card in it. Let me put my glasses on and see. I have an extra one. I know I do. But the one app that I use, I'll highlight this for you. Jody has a comment there.
Oh, Jody, you know what? I've taken I've taken intuitive development classes there to put the tools that I've taught them to work. So Jody is sharing, I visited the African Episcopal Cemetery in Otterville near Tilsonburg. The energy there feels like it swings as if people are singing back and forth to each other. So when I do the talk, Tales from the Grave, when I'm talking about why paranormal investigate at cemeteries, we have... I talk about this cemetery actually, and I have a photo of it. Whenever I've gone, so I've taken classes there, but when I've gone to investigate with Jody, all of our equipment stopped working or acted up before we even got into it. So like even my cell phone, the cell phone was like flashing off and on. The compass was going crazy. The GoPro camera died, everything before we even got in there. And we were there about twilight, like when it's starting to get a little bit dark, but not quite. And we had all kinds of weird stuff happen. I think the Ontario Dowsing Society went in and they dowsed to find all of the graves because they were unmarked. So they've been slowly getting them all marked again. It's got quite an interesting history to it.
The one thing that I want to ask you about that we didn't cover, because I talked to you about this obviously before we went live. I said, what are your feelings about protection and closing out a session? Because as we were talking, and I said I've ended up working with people mainly in my previous home that would see something on TV, and then a little bit of knowledge sometimes can be dangerous. And I'm not saying this to scare anybody, but instead of maybe getting somebody to show them how to use the equipment properly or what to do or how to close a session, they'd end up going out thinking they're doing what they saw on TV and then coming home and having a few issues. And it was just because I don't think they were really well prepared. So what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah.
About what you would do or what you would encourage people to do.
Yeah. So I certainly encouraging people to understand what your belief system is, understand what your intention is, understanding that you may run into or could potentially have happen. So do you have a game plan? Do you understand how to open up your sacred space, and do you know how to close it down? So setting your intention to connect, and then when you're done, closing it down and knowing how to clear the energy after. So educating yourself with those things as well too. I don't necessarily protect up before I go in because I think you can protect. Oh, did you see the light?
Yeah. I do.
Yeah.
Yes.
You can sometimes protect so much that you're not actually going to allow an experience to happen. So I want to have that personal experience because I think personal experiences are still evidential or evidence. But knowing how to shut it down and to clear that energy, and it's doing some research and understanding what your cultural background is as well too, I think is important. Understanding what your cultural history is and incorporating that and investigating and learning that, what you feel pulled to, and having somebody around that does know, if you don't know. Yep, there is. I forget what it's called. I think that's what it is, but you can correct me if you're doing a quick search now. Because I believe that's where I got my first dowsing rods from, Jackie.
And I think it's important, like you said, to set your intention. And I think that you have to be serious about it, because the people that I ran into, and the other thing I want to add, don't take things from places. Like you said, don't trespass. Don't take things from places, because these are some of the people I ran into. They were usually young gentlemen, early to mid 20s, maybe a little bit lonely, just kind of wanting to belong, right? And thinking, oh, this looks so cool what these guys are doing on these paranormal shows, and going in there, but not really knowing exactly what you said. As well as I had a few that went in there with the intention, thinking, I want to see the scariest thing I can possibly see because I don't really believe in it. And, I think you have to be serious about why you're going in there. Serious doesn't mean you can't go and have a good time, but I think you have to, like you said, know your intention and setting boundaries and everything that you said as well. And it's so important too to close and knowing how to clear your energy. Absolutely agree with you.
And it's not always, you can go long spurts of not having anything happen.
I was just going to say that. Yep.
Investigation. And it does not have to be scary for it to be an amazing experience. It doesn't have to be the spooky for it to be amazing. This is why I love the Ireland House so much. The Ireland House in Burlington, I talk about it all the time. I know, I'm not sure, if Jennifer, have you been? I know that I've brought so many people there. I'm there twice a year. And my sister, who is like super scared of this stuff, she doesn't want it. And her kids, she's intuitive. All of the kids are intuitive. My kids are intuitive. And she loves it. She loves going there. She tells people she would sleep there.
Oh.
And you have stuff happen as soon as you walk in the door. Like stuff
Aw.
happens as soon as you walk in the door. Doors open, you hear footsteps, you hear audible sounds. There is action from the moment you get there, the whole entire time. And it's lighthearted. It is, they are proud of the space. They want to connect. They want the interaction there. And you don't even have to push. You just are there like, tell me your history.
What I was saying to you, like when we were talking today, is what some people, I'm not saying everybody, but some people don't realize that, you're dealing with spirits, but most that you're going to interact with, if not all, but most have been human. And this, while we have free will on the other side. So it's the same thing when you come to see a medium that you want to specifically speak to one individual that you absolutely are insistent of. We have no control who comes over, right? It's who come, you have free will on the other side is what I'm saying. So would you treat a human being like that in real life? Like, that's how I feel. Like, you should be very respectful to the spirits that you're interacting with. Like this place that you just discussed, like they're proud of their space, right? They wanted the interaction, and it sounds like it's a really beautiful experience and fun.
And an interesting thing that happened. I always say, like, hi, Tanya Martins, thank you for being here. That I've never had a negative experience, right? Like we did have our friend come, long dark hair, and definitely one of the gentlemen there likes the long dark hair because she had her hair like had a little bit of a tug. But
that doesn't mean that that's negative. Like, just like
no, I'm not saying that's negative. I just
put that out there, like, right? But you knew, like, one of the gentlemen liked long dark hair, so he's like, "Hey, girly."
Right. So we had brought. I was there recently with Snipes, so Ghost Hunters on the Grand. They're going to right. So that they came, and Trevor tends to use some salty language.
Ah, okay.
Frequently.
Yeah.
Some salty language, and they got one of the Ireland members saying "get out," and I've never heard that, like, in all my years, like him getting frustrated where he's like "get out," and I feel it's because of the salty language. Ooh. So being mindful of the language that we're using. Is it appropriate for that time period? Is it the way that they would have done things then? Are we asking questions in a way that makes sense to them? Are we using slang that they may not understand? So, like, really understanding where you're at and how to approach it is important, and that everybody's on the same page, and that you have a game plan if something goes sideways. Is there, that you shut it down, stop it, don't do anymore. Like, those things are important.
When you say sideways, what have you had anything really go? I'm just asking. I never asked you this before. If you're comfortable asking, what do you mean by sideways? If you had a game plan, say somebody got scratched, or I'm not saying it happened, but is that the type of game plan you're talking about?
Oh my gosh, I got scratched at home by something nasty. Not this.
Oh, home. I have too, and bit.
Not this home. So, so we did have something go sideways. So Jody and I, my
investigation buddy.
Yeah. So investigation buddy, at a certain cemetery, which I'm not going to share which one, but
that's okay.
It's pretty intense. Like, it started bringing up the D word on a spirit box as soon as we parked. It makes us feel nauseous, sick to our stomach. Like, we get discombobulated. It starts to separate us. So
do you get a headache too? I usually get a really bad headache when something heavy is there.
Yeah, it just gets pretty intense. I love Snipe too. Ghost Hunters on the Grand. So their TV show is great. Agreed. So
I didn't even know they had a TV show. That's how bad I am. I've met them.
Yeah, season 5. Season 5 is
okay. Now I feel sorry if anybody from Snipe is watching. No disrespect.
Yeah, season 5, and they loved it. They loved the Ireland House. Everyone that I've taken.
Hi, Amy.
Hi, Amy. So yeah, so flowers are actually, depending on where you're going, like with seances, flowers were a part of what they used, right? So flowers, having a bell, having the trumpet, like there's being mindful of the time period is important.
Can you talk about table tipping? Because I never knew any, I've heard of it. I didn't know what it was until I've gotten to know you. And
Mhm.
I think it is fantastic, but some people
Mhm.
may not know what that is. So do you want to share? Because there'll be people listening who are going, table tipping, what is that?
Mhm.
Mhm.
So table tipping, spirit boards, tablets, writing tablets, automatic writing, all that stuff started with the spiritualist movement, right? When it first started. So table tipping, you get everybody to stand around a table, just with your fingers really lightly on it. You're building up that energy, and you're getting spirit to manipulate the table for yeses and nos. They can lean it left and right. They can walk it around the room. They can spin it in circles. We've had spirits knock underneath the table lid. You could feel it knock from underneath. Oh, yeah, that's right, Katessa. You were here when we did the table tipping. Is an amazing experience. I agree.
Mhm.
I hook everybody on it. I love it, and so for the is it okay, the Paracon, if I talk about it really quickly?
I don't care. You can
The
talk about it.
Paracon,
Yeah, absolutely.
the Lake Superior Paracon in Thunder Bay this year, because I did table tipping for the
I was
investigation.
hoping you were going to talk about it because you told me about it last year. I didn't get to go on the
Yeah.
investigation, and it was so phenomenal. So absolutely.
Yeah, we did table tipping last year, and I just had like a wooden table from like Canadian Tire. So this year I bought a vintage table and had my daughter's boyfriend put new legs on it and lift it higher.
Okay.
So it stands taller. I can have more people on the table. We can fit about 8 people on the table now. It may not fit out the door if they stick me on the same floor this year as they did last year,
It's in
but
a different hotel, from what I saw.
right. The paranormal
Oh, the
investigation at the
investigation.
museum, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
So we
I
may
hear
not be able to start in the room because I don't think
yeah.
the table will fit through the door. But
Mhm.
yeah, you can get the table to walk and move all over the place. It's an amazing experience for sure.
It is. Yeah. I wasn't there, but when you told me about it, because I'd never heard this before. And then there is a paranormal investigator, Colin Browen, who investigates with his family. And this year, he just reached 1 million. He's been on YouTube for a year or 10 years. He's the one I've told you about many times. This guy does a documentary every week. I don't know how he does it, but he wanted to open himself up to new experiences that he'd never looked at. And one of them was they went to one investigation, I think it was over in the UK, where they did table tipping. And he got such a hard time about the results of it. And it was like, I don't think you people understand how table tipping works. They were trying to say that his brother-in-law was moving the table with his elbows, and that's not what
So,
happened.
so some interesting stuff with that. The first time that I did the table tipping with Snipe, they had brought me to a location in Hamilton,
Mhm.
and one of the guys used the thermal camera, and you could see that we were not pressing down. You could see that we weren't doing that. I did it a second time with Jacqueline with Guelph Urbex here in Guelph at the
Mhm.
Albion downtown. And at the time they were still under renovation, hadn't opened yet, and they had their very heavy, tall wooden bistro tables in the basement,
Okay.
and we got that moving.
Oh, wow. I love
So see, yeah. And so at the same time um we did table tipping, 5 of us, and it worked. See, Sherry Madigan, thank you for sharing.
And Sherry saying
So
hi. Mhm.
Jacqueline also of Guelph Urbex, she grabbed the
Mhm.
thermal cam at that point in time too, and we had the big heavy table,
Mhm.
and she saw the same thing. Like the temperature showed that we were not pushing down or creating that movement. So it was great.
Michelle just said same thing. She goes, I would love to watch a table tipping and observe. That's why I
Mhm.
asked you to bring it up. It just popped into my head because I remember asking you, you said, oh yeah, I'm bringing my table for table tipping. I'm going, what the heck is table tipping? I'd never heard of it. And I think because, like you said, from the age that it came from, a lot of people don't do it. And I think, like, I talked to some of the people that had been at the session where you did the table tipping here in Thunder Bay, and people's minds were just blown with the amount of energy and where it went. And it was crazy.
And I personally feel the table tipping works. I always adjust, right? So when we're doing the seance at the house, I have the equipment set up kind of like how I do right now.
Yeah.
And we just roll with it. We use a candle. You can use a candle for spirit communication, making the flame come really high or at a bend. The candle spinners, like they've got the top with the little hanging. Mine has cats. I've got one that has moons on it, and it spins in a circle. You can make spirit stop the spinner and spin it.
I didn't know that, because I had the one from that has the angels.
Yes, you can use that. I also have somewhere, it's in all dark in here right now, so I don't know what I did with it. Woohoo! Sorry, folks. A table wind chime.
Oh.
So it looks like a little copper bell or a copper bowl with a bell in it, and it's only maybe 1.5 inches tall. Okay. And I've had that sitting on the table and asking them to make the breeze go so that the bell will go off. So you do not have to spend a whole lot of money to do these sorts of things at home. So I forget where I was going.
We were talking about table tipping.
So spirits will pick and choose. Sometimes they want to use like the modern paranormal equipment, and if you shut off certain things, they'll push you to where they're wanting to go. And when we're doing the table tipping, we're laughing, we are shocked, we are like, we can barely keep up because it's spinning so much. Like we are running into each other, so we're laughing, and so recently with Snipe and Lucky Paranormal at the Pauline Johnson house, and that table tipping, we did it for over an hour before we even realized like an hour had gone by.
Oh, wow. Then you're having fun.
Exactly. And I think that matters. Like, I think it raises the vibration of the space. So you sing. Yeah,
that's a good idea.
It's raising that vibration and frequency, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. We
do this at the beginning.
That's what I remember you said. Yeah, you get clapping, rubbing your hands and creating that energy, right?
I think one time I made people do ohms.
Well, they're
the bottom of your belly.
I will tell you, today, scrolling around on Reels, this reel came up and it said, tell me that vibration and frequency don't exist. And it's this bullfrog sitting in this completely still pond, and it starts to make the bullfrog noise. And you see the water, the ripples get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. This frog never moves. All you hear is the sound, and the sound creates the ripples. Yeah. So if that doesn't show you, I don't know what will.
It's amazing. So I would love to get my hands on one. I used to have my cover photo on Facebook. Yes, that table was walking around the room for sure. It is like a singing bowl. I forget what they're called, but you put water inside and you wet the handles.
Okay.
Then you rub your hands back and forth over the handles. And as you rub, it creates this vibration, and then the water starts to dance and jump from you rubbing it, but the handles are wet, so it's not a whole lot of friction, but you start moving it and it starts to vibrate, and as it vibrates, all that water just starts dancing.
Now I got to know what that is, because the only thing I have, and I need to pull it out of the closet, and grabbing it and have, oh shoot, I just dropped some of my crystals all over. Some of my tools I work with every day are right beside me. But I have a tuning fork, because tuning forks are another way, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I know you have them. But
because I think it's funny, because it's like grade 4 humor to say that I have forked myself.
Yeah. But, oh, my dog perked up. So
Good.
There's
And but clapping your hands shifts the energy as well too, right? All of that stuff.
my dog just said you rang. And I think it might be a good point right now. I don't know why it just popped into my head. Thank you, Spirit. That artist Abel Hart that is out there. Check that guy out. He's tuning music to the frequency about basically what he's singing about, right?
Exactly. I love the tuning fork as well too. Should we do the station ID really quickly, just because we are at 20 after 8? We haven't even done the EVPs yet.
I was just going to say, should we start communicating? And I heard.
No, let's do our tuning forks first, and then let's turn on the spirit boxes and see where we go. And however you want to do that. So if you are just joining us now, thank you so much for being here. You are listening to Beneath the Hollow Moon. I'm your host, Kerrilynn Shellhorn, and I'm here with my wonderful co-host, Lorilei Potvin. And you are listening to us live on the United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 in the Gulf Coast and 107.7 FM in beautiful New Orleans. And if you are enjoying what you are listening to and watching, please consider liking, subscribing, and sharing, letting people know all about us. And you can follow along on uprntalkradio.com for all of our shows, to learn more about our hosts, keeping up with all of the comings and goings and new things that are happening. Today we are talking about frequency through the veil and EVPs and spirit communication. And for those folks that are in the chat, start thinking of some questions that you would like to ask. And you guys ask the questions, and we are going to turn our SB11s, which is a spirit box. It runs through radio stations at a high speed, creating white noise. And the theory is that spirits can use that white noise to be able to communicate with us.
I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to give my friend a shout out. He used to go to this network years ago. Derek White Sky Cloud. He is Métis, so First Nations and another nationality here in Canada. And oh God, what is the name of it? If you look up Derek White Sky Cloud, you'll find, I think it's Métis Artisans. I'm not sure though, but I've shown you my walking stick that I ordered from him. That it is so beautiful, but I can't use it as a walking stick because I kind of feel like Gandalf from Lord of the Rings because it's so big. You shall not pass. It's beautiful.
Dress for the job you want.
Yes. It's in the corner over there. It's got all these beautiful, he put all these amethyst in it. It's got this gorgeous feather. Anyways, no animals are harmed in this, but if an animal has lost its life, people will bring certain parts of it to him, and he does all kinds of beautiful, makes drums, makes you name it. So this is my jet crystal. This is the one I use a lot for crystal Reiki. So it's just a quartz crystal, and it just fits so well in my hand. So I love it. So I'm going to give him a shout out. I grabbed my tuning fork. Did you grab your tuning fork? I don't know. I don't use it very often, but.
No, I don't. It's right there though. It's right beside me in my desk.
Oh, I can hear it, but you guys can't. I don't know if I put it near the microphone. So you'll be able to hear it.
It's right. I got it. Mine.
Have you? You've got a whole array. Contessa says, I really enjoyed the Estes method. Cindy says, I was gifted a big stick from my tree. I love it. If Jonathan was still here, he was here earlier. I have actually worked on a couple things with him with the Estes method. There was Danilo Cavalcanti, I think his name was. There was a 10-day manhunt for him. Him and I did. I'm in Canada. He's in Colorado. And we did a Estes method and Spirit actually had told him this gentleman was moving all over the place hiding. And Jonathan had never been in that neck of the woods in Pennsylvania. And through Spirit and the ghost box, he was able to get the guy was hiding on this particular river. He got the name of the river and where the shack was. And I believe after he was caught, he had been hiding in there at that time for a short period. Yeah.
That's crazy. I love, like, with the Estes method that Contessa is sharing. So Nicole Tito wrote a book about the Estes method as well, too. That's their go-to stuff. So I'm not sure why I'm having an issue remembering. It's like,
I have the name of it.
Ghostly Voices. So ghostlyvoices.com. Ghostlyvoices.com. So 101 everyday ghost hunting items. Al Grajic and Nicole Tito, but they also wrote the book a book about Estes method, which they do quite a bit.
How about I'll pull out the Deadline ITC Paranormal Research app and you use your SB7 and then I can pull on mine, or you've got SB11. Yeah. So I'll start.
The light just went off again. You
guys have questions? Do you have questions you want us to ask? I'm starting. I'll turn it down. I didn't. This has, you can enable EMF or not.
Did that just whistle?
Mine does. Yeah, it'll make that noise.
Is that too loud? I don't know if folks can.
That's good.
When we're doing the Estes method at the house, or when you guys are doing the Estes method, you're putting on noise canceling headphones and a blindfold, so it becomes sensory deprivation. Just in case there's folks that don't know much about it or haven't heard of it.
I'm glad that you did. Yeah, because some people probably will go, "What is the Estes method?"
Yeah, and so we always ask a silly question at the beginning, like, are you wearing underwear with purple hearts on them, or like just something silly, so that we know for sure that person can't hear the questions that are being asked.
Right.
And then asking.
Just said death. Death.
Oh.
Said death.
So we're just setting our intention that the messages that are coming through with the highest good, greatest interest, and the most amount of healing. We are asking our divine team to watch over, guide, and protect us while we're working, making sure that any spirits that do come through know that they have to go back where they came when we are all done.
I just got surge as you were speaking, so we'll see. I have not tested this enough to know how accurate it is, whether it's accurate at all. And then I'll pull out my box in a minute, but we'll try this for a bit.
Okay.
I can hear the radio waves through this one.
Is that a good... Oh, that went off as good too.
What sweep rate do you have yours on?
Sorry?
What sweep rate do you have yours on?
I have FM on at 250 and my AM on at 300. Okay. And I have my FM is going in reverse and my AM is going forward.
Okay, so this particular, I don't want to call it an app because it's a website. It is, frequency range is at medium. It says 20 hertz to 10 kilohertz. And the sweep speed is at medium. Well, can we just ask anything? Amy's saying, can we just ask anything, like if there's a message for Steve or...
Sorry, it's very hard for me to hear you when this is going.
So Amy asked, can we just ask anything, like if there is a message for Steve? Sure, go ahead. Yeah, you can ask.
Did you hear the female say hi?
I'll turn this off because I think it'll be easier than have both of us going.
Sorry. So you know what? When I do, I pulled them out actually, Susie. Susie was saying, yes, I'd love for you to give us examples of questions to guide our thinking. So when I do the Dining with the Dead of the Coated Lantern, and there's another venue that's very haunted that's asked me to do, did you hear the female voice? I did too. Mm-hmm. So I wrote out like 2 pages of questions for people because sometimes it's hard to know. So I give you the idea of how to start your questions and then just different questions. Who are we speaking to? Can you tell us your name? Are we bothering you? Is there a message for Steve? Okay.
So
Did
when
we-
try that, is there a message for Steve?
Someone.
What did it say?
Someone.
Someone. Okay. Who are we speaking with? Can you tell us your name, please?
Hey.
I heard that. Hey.
So I have a male figure that's a cigarette smoker. I don't know if he smoked until he died, but he's definitely got lung issues, and he's standing to my right hand side. And he keeps, I don't know if he has like the scruffy face, but he keeps rubbing my face like I've got facial hair. He's the one that just said, hey.
Can you tell us your name?
Sandra is asking, what is the message to someone?
Oh, okay. What is the message to someone? Okay.
Hi.
Hi? Yeah, that's, I thought I heard too.
That man just backed up, so that was something different. There's music playing. So I kind of thought this may happen. If yes, there was a woman's voice. If I'm picking up, should I spit stuff out, or do I?
Yeah, go for it. Go and do what you need to do.
Yeah, because I just know me. So
just work the way you work. I told you I was in learning mode tonight too, because I don't use all of this equipment. Just go for it, Kerrilynn. Do what you need to do. You don't have to ask for permission. You just do what you need to do. And we love you for it.
I don't really know. So the male figure that was coming through that was showing me this scruffy stuff on the face, there's definitely lung related issues, definitely was a smoker at some point. He was making me feel medication going in his mouth, out of his mouth. And then I was hearing the music. So there is a connection to music and how he's connecting, because he got a big smile on his face. He was talking about there not being a proper goodbye and medicine wasn't working properly. But then I asked him if he was peaceful, because I asked if he was peaceful in his head. And he was like showing me peaceful and healthy whole. He was definitely very sick, and there was not a proper goodbye for dude. I don't know what his name was. I didn't get that just yet.
Just that.
Message for someone.
That was Matthias and Matthias. It's a message from Matthias. Matthias.
The female figure that was coming through when we asked about Matthias. So it's a female figure that's coming through.
Okay, I'll leave that up there for Susie Broughton.
Yeah, Susie, it's a female figure that was coming through.
I heard a hello. Hello. Yeah.
Can you give us your name? Do you have a message for someone? Yes. Is there anyone that you miss? Can you describe where you are now?
I can hear this thing.
Do you like talking to us?
There was a sound over top of the suite.
So right now there's a motorcycle outside my window.
Oh, maybe that's what it was then.
Can you hear the motorcycle?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think it's just leaving.
People are saying, oh, wow, that gave me goosebumps. And ladies, I have a question. I have a grape garden in my yard. I like to talk to my grandpa when watering the grapes because he had some too. Does he? Yes.
Oh.
I keep doing it. Thank you.
How do you show signs that you're here? Where did you live during your life? It sounded like a dog. That sounded like
I
a dog.
know. Yeah.
Oh, that pet cemetery talk earlier.
Yes.
You folks that don't know me very well, when I'm doing like mediumship, I don't like the pets come through, but when they touch me, don't like it.
No?
Nope. If I all of a sudden get a dog touching me underneath the desk, you're all in trouble.
Yeah. How many do we have here with us? 5? Did we say 5? Thank you.
A female voice said 5.
Thank you.
So to be fair, there was a male voice there, but I really couldn't make it out. But definitely pareidolia was kicking in where I wanted it to sound like record, but I don't think that it was.
I almost thought it said 4, so I you would hear it better than I did because it's in front of you. But
yeah. So again, pareidolia kicking in, right? Making it be what we may want it to be, or closest thing to it.
What is your name? You you have messages for people here? A lot of people heard 4 as well. Is there a young woman there? That's what I'm almost feeling, like a young woman there wanting to.
There was
I
a young woman.
Yeah,
And
because
then
I'm
there's,
feeling her. Yeah. Go
yeah.
ahead. Sorry, Kerrilynn. Go ahead. Sorry.
Do you have messages from her that you want to share? Or are you picking up? We don't have to do.
I
We're
just
not.
picked her up. No, go ahead. I'm just
All
gonna
right,
jump in
okay.
when I jump in. I'm letting you do this. You were good at this, but I can see her, I can feel her, and I feel like she kind of stepped forward, then she kind of just stepped back. So
Yeah. And then the other male figure. Oh, the tripwire lights just went off. The other male figure that felt older, which all feels like so hip knee stuff, and I had a pop in my head like he was making me have instant heart attack or stroke, like it's that stuff. It's a female voice again.
right, that was the one that I feel I can almost see. So feel free to step forward, please. From Susie to the woman who came through for Matthias, are you related to him? And what would you like him to know? Do you have messages for people in the chat or that will be listening? Oh, that was interesting.
That sounded like singing. Again.
I was trying to tune into who was there that I'm feeling because
Hi, Carrie.
Hi Carrie, hi Mortalie.
Hi, Mort.
Yours is getting great. That's why I turned mine off because I'm not even aware if it really works really well or not. I've only tried it outside that app. So, and haven't played with it. I don't want to call it an app, it's a website. I haven't used this box. I've used it once or twice. So, do you want me to?
Oh, so but I know other people that have tried the same one that you just held up as well too, that use that one as well and have good results with it.
Well, keep going with yours.
Well, we also need to be mindful because we have our
story you told me. I knew there was something I had to remember.
and it's a really good listener submission. Like it's an incredible story that they were willing to share with us that I don't want to, but we can always, like, our plan is to do some of these again. Like we would love to do this, and we didn't really give you guys a heads up ahead of time, and next time we can give you that more of a heads up where you can get your questions ready or even email some questions to us. So
absolutely.
And then
I'll try a few more of my devices. The reason why I don't want to pull them out is because if one's working and we're getting responses, that's just it, right? Like it's working well. So
Yeah.
do you want me to do the reader submission then? Because it really
I
was.
think so, just because we're at quarter two, right? So
Yeah.
I want to make sure that we have, it'll probably take us right to the end. And we appreciate it, guys. Send your stories to kerrilynnsporch at gmail.com. We would love to be able to share your story as well.
So do you want me to start reading?
Yeah.
Okay. My son was 4 years old, and it all began with a fairy door. Well, maybe it was the fairy door. How is one to know? I've long been fascinated by miniature things, and I did not write this story, even though I love fairies and am fascinated by miniature things. And so I've been long fascinated by miniature things and imagination and story. So when an arty, like one that's into art, friend of mine gifted me a tiny handmade fairy door for my wee son, I was elated. We'd been in our new home for not too long, 1 year-ish, and I look forward to installing the fairy door in my son's room with him. He was excited too. Oh, the possibilities. Who might live behind that wee door? We chose the perfect spot along the baseboard underneath his craft desk, right in the that cubby where his legs would go, were he sitting at said desk. Not long after installation, I had an idea. From my childhood dollhouse, I removed a little, and then in brackets, super awesome 1980s bistro set, a crayon green table with white flowers on it, 2 little matching chairs. Um, I don't know. Am I okay to use these names? The names were
Yeah.
changed.
The name.
Okay, so Ryan and I decided that it'd be nice to welcome whoever lived behind the door by setting up a cozy space to visit. We split a citrus lifesaver in half and left a piece on that tiny bistro table, an offering for a visiting guest. Ryan was more than excited, and he hoped with that special heart of a child that a miniature magical world would unfold. And as a mother who has never left her childlike wonder behind, I sort of hoped so too. Whoever wrote this, boy, they are a really gifted writer, I'll tell you, the way they've written a story. So they say, spoiler alert, in retrospect, I might be the worst parent in the world. Oh my goodness. So Tony, and in bracket, my husband, Ryan's father, and I had tucked Ryan in for the night long after this lifesaver setup, and we'd settled on the couch to watch some show. Not long after, we heard our son shrieking. It didn't sound normal. We were absolutely stunned, and we both ran upstairs as fast as our feet would take us. My son's bed was positioned in a corner of his bedroom, and he was sitting up on the bed, eyes wide with terror, tucked into the corner between 2 walls, shaking like a leaf. Maybe this is the right time to share that my son, now almost 17, has always been verbal. He has always been a very even personality. He is calm, an old soul, she put in quotations. We have always noted since the day he was born almost. Anyway, I digress. Back to the shaking like a leaf. Tony and I sat on the bed, hugging Ryan first. In his 4-year-old way, he explained that his bed had been shaking and that he had seen lights flashing about his room. Bright, colorful dots of light, as best as he could best explain. I'm going to do what all rational humans do in an experience like this. I'm going to go through the list of all the things that could create lights like that in his room. Only I come up empty. Zero explanation. We hugged him, brought him downstairs, let him watch some TV with us, lightened the mood, and in brackets put, or tried anyway. We weren't sure of what to make of it just yet. A bad dream? ? Imagination ? As parents, we both remembered what it was like to be small and not have an adult believe. We didn't want to dismiss our son's experience, but we also didn't want to make something more than it should be, if that makes sense. If I recall, he did go back to bed that night and slept. Okay, I'm going to go a little bit further. It says decades earlier, a very young Tony is living in an apartment in Toronto with his parents, Marco and Paula. The family had come from Chile, settling in Canada to form a new life away from the Pinochet regime that devastated the Latin American country. One night, little Tony, tucked into his own bed, saw a shadow floating above him, a dark, almost silky cloud moving across his room. Knowing his parents were up in another room, Tony shouted out loud, "Intruder!" Someone had broken into their apartment. Tony's father, a huggable bear of a man whom everyone loves, rushed to Tony's room and listened as the sobbing boy explained in total fear that there was someone inside the apartment. Marco searched high and low and assured his son that no one was in the apartment. He'd had a bad dream and that he was safe. It was that moment in time that Tony realized he sensed and saw things that others did not, a theme that remains very true today. He no longer felt protected by the adults in his life. Now an adult and a father, Tony moves through this world differently, but does not share this part of him with anyone beyond myself. But he well remembers that moment with his parents in that Toronto apartment so long ago. A few nights later, shrieks emanate from Ryan's room again. We basically hit the replay button on the first event, shaking bed, lights spinning and dancing across his walls. More hugs, more discomfort settles across the family of three. Some nights are okay across the next weeks, but many are not. Something is traumatizing our son. Simply put, the crescendo comes one night as again, we parents are settled in on the couch. We are by now quite raw ourselves. No matter what is happening, we are upset for our son. There's certainly no quote unquote parent guide to help. And I agree because I've been in this situation. This night, there are no shrieks. Our young son appears at the top of the staircase landing and in brackets, clear view to us from the couch downstairs. And he is standing there shaking, trying to speak, trying to make noise, but nothing is coming out. Tears streaming down his face. Oh, it just breaks my heart reading this. It was absolute, unadulterated, pure terror. I will never forget it. I feel sick typing this. Tony runs up, picks Ryan up, and brings him downstairs, cradling him like the treasure he is. There's something in that moment where I feel I failed my son. I'm supposed to protect him. Once he could speak again, he again shared that in his room, his bed was this time shaking violently. The lights were spinning across the walls, only this time, and in brackets again. And believe me, this was a new one. He saw what he explained to be a dark, gray, gnarled old hand reaching for him across his bed. It touched him. And this marks the last day my son ever slept in that room for the duration of our time in that particular home. And in brackets, we stayed for another 4.5 years. I can definitely commiserate. My son, my eldest son, never slept in his bedroom, ever, past the age of 4.5 in my previous home, right until the time we moved. And we were there for many years. That night shifted our family dynamic. I brought Ryan to sleep with me in our bed. Tony, always a night hawk for as long as I have known him, began to sleep in the spare guest room. Ryan's room, vacant. The very first night I brought Ryan into my bed, he fell into the deepest, longest slumber I can remember. In the wee hours of that morning, perhaps a bit cliche to say this, but it really was around 3 a.m., a moment I'll not forget. Click. Ryan's music box began singing its lullaby, its verse sailing out of his bedroom door and into my room as my son slept. A lot happened with me that night. My own personal discoveries, let's say. First, I interpreted that music. I felt like a message was being dropped into my brain from something outside of myself. That's the best way I can describe something I have come to understand in these later years. Not too often, but sometimes I get some kind of message and I understand it. It's not from myself. That night, that music box was a message. Ryan, come back. I also learned something else. My room was a protected space. It seemed like nothing can enter. I was petrified that night because an experience that my brain still tried to explain away as a child's imagination was brought into the external world, a confirmation. But still, a confirmation with just me, myself, and I. I was there. It happened, but like a foggy morning, when the sun rises, things evaporate. Ryan stayed in my bed for 4.5 years and slept soundly every night. And every night I felt like something was at my door, looking in, but absolutely could not come in. This is the only way I can describe these days, weeks, and years. A couple of weeks after that last night of my son sleeping in his own bed, my husband decided to sleep in my son's room. Curiosity, protective father, I don't know. I'd already fallen asleep with Ryan and didn't know that he was going to do this. The next day, my husband emerges from the guest bedroom and shares with me that he had an quote unquote encounter in Ryan's room. He never slept in there again. And to this day, I do not fully know what happened. Many months later, after a lot of stress, Tony and I decided to go away for a night, just him and I. Ryan's grandparents, which were Tony's parents, came to stay with Ryan. They loved spending time with him, and his grandmother, Abuela, spoiled him absolutely rotten, just as it should be. We had never shared even a little about what we'd been experiencing in our home. Zip, zilch, nada. To get around the whole Ryan can't sleep in his room thing, we told Abuela to have a sleepover in the guest room with Ryan. We set it up with cozy blankets, storybooks, snacks, games. She was over the moon with the idea, and so was Ryan. We felt we'd safeguarded the situation while not having to explain an unexplainable situation. Please do know that we were feeling all out crazy. But at that same time, well, what can I say? It was genuinely our collective family experience at the time. So Tony and I are getting ready to leave. Everything is all set up and good to go. We assumed Marco would sleep in our bedroom, clean linens, bigger bed, just figured that's the way it would go. Oops, Tony and I go away somewhere. To this very day, we find this very odd. We literally cannot remember where we went at all. I'd like to say we had a nice time, and I'm sure we did, but I cannot remember. I do know it was but one night away. We arrived home around early afternoon the next day, and the moment we stepped in, Marco whisked Tony and I away for a private conversation. Paula, and in brackets Abuela, stayed with Ryan in a separate room. Marco looked exceptionally serious, and I've never seen this look on his face before or since. Absolute fear. Marco is the most easygoing, laid-back, jovial man you'll ever meet. Live and let live, salt of the earth. And he then proceeds to say, we have to call a priest, Tony, and I have called on your aunt. Of relevance, Tony's aunt, Tina, is a very spiritual, intuitive woman. We sat there and really didn't understand. Shocked, let's say. Marco explained that he'd chosen to spend the night in Ryan's bedroom while Ryan and Abuela had their guest room sleepover. Marco was attacked in the bed. His words, with not even a whiff of knowledge of our own experience. Something shook the bed. A pillow was turned over in my face and something grabbed my leg, he said. He raised his pant leg, and sure enough, there were scratch marks. At this point, Paula entered the room, and then they put in brackets, Ryan was watching a show or something and was not in the room. She looked ashen and shared the experience from her perspective, observing a rattled Marco. My entire paradigm shifted in that moment. Forever, our experiences had been validated in a way that I could no longer explain away. I was scared. I was shaking. I felt sick. What was in that room? But something else kicked in too. I was mad, like deeply rage-filled. And with my rage in hand, I planned to sage the entire house once the grandparents left. I saged myself, my son, my husband, and uttered words of protection. And they put in brackets of note. I have no idea if I did that correctly, but it felt right. I walked with great intention through every single corner of that house. And I mean every corner of that house. And I told all negative energy to get out, not welcome, only light and love and joy allowed. Be gone, not invited, not welcomed. I felt something so deep within me, but I also never let Ryan sleep alone in that room again, or sleep in that room again. It became a room for overflow crap, and I'm being honest. Same thing happened at my house, and I did have a fairy door, by the way. I even took that fairy door down. The haunted house, 4-ish years later. We were moving and we had to pack our son's room, being one of the last rooms we tackled. I walked in, broad daylight, stood in the center of the room, spun around, soaking it all in. A relic of his 4-year-old self mixed with other stuff we'd stored in there. The fairy door and its bistro set, his closet, a museum of toys. Wee woo, wee woo, wee woo. From the depths of the closet, a fire truck sounds off. A 4-year-old Ryan, favorite fire truck. And then the sirens going off, red lights going off, chills. I open the closet, dig up the fire truck from beneath a mountain of books, balls, Hot Wheels, and Transformers, Nerf guns. Right, of course, no batteries. Goodbye, house. I think this is the last little part, right, Kerrilynn? It's present day?
Yep.
Okay, so it's a good story, though. Present day. If you were to ask my son about that time in his life, he can articulate that what he went through with remarkable clarity. He can explain better what he was experiencing every single night in that room and how come he came to expect and accept the activity, falling asleep, curled up in the fetal position. It breaks my mother's heart to this day. Deeply, over and over and over. Clearly the heart heals because mine keeps breaking, patching up and breaking again. I don't know what this experience was, Kerrilynn. I don't know how to frame it. It has changed me forever. It has changed my husband forever. It has changed my son forever. Excuse me. It bonds us as a family and it alienates us as a family. What exactly happened, I'll never know on this plane, I guess, or ever maybe. My best guess is that fairy door, and I agree. Sorry, I lost my place. Lifesaver, I'll never know the lifesaver offering and a child's shiny, innocent hope invited the wrong thing in. It feels something that was intent on my son and my son alone and very possessive of him. I really don't know. I feel absolutely vulnerable and scared and even a little embarrassed sharing this. But if I can't share with you, then who? After moving, my son has slept well and without incident, but he remembers. We remember. From my own perspective, I have learned about myself. I'm getting better at knowing how to decipher the messages of my brain and emotional self tell me versus the messages that are coming in from someone or somewhere else. These messages don't come in quote unquote plain English, but their intent is clear. I've also learned to be at peace, knowing that at least in a small radius, I issue a fortress of fierce protection. I love my son. He has always spoken truth. I've never known what to do with all of this, so I mostly just pack it away along with that bloody room of his. So worst parent ever for encouraging that fairy door, or maybe not such a bad parent because I didn't continue to believe. Jury's out. The question that lingers in my mind, why Ryan? Why my son? Last part. Thank you for listening without judgment, Kerrilynn. This has felt very emotional as the loose ends still flap in the invisible wind.
Thank you so much for sharing that story. We are like right down to the wire and we need to go, and there's so much. So we may come back and discuss it at the beginning of next week's show because we are going to talk about fairies next week.
We could even reread it if we had to. I think it was
totally can.
Mm-hmm.
We totally can. But we do need to say goodnight, Michelle. DeRoche is up next with The Outer Realm, and we will come back to the story. Thank you so much for being brave and sharing it. Thank you to everyone that was in the chat. Thank you to the United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 in the Gulf Coast, 107.7 FM in beautiful New Orleans. Thanks for joining us on Beneath the Hollow Moon, and until next week, step back into the shadows, and whatever you do, don't follow the
whispers. Tune in for Spirit Switchboard 6 p.m. tomorrow with Julie Jean Bassett. I will be back Monday, the Angel Rock, 6 p.m. I forgot to check who, but there'll be someone. We love you guys all. We'll see you next week. And tune in for Kerrilynn tomorrow and Julie Jean. Love ya. Stay tuned for Michelle.